So welcome back to the Muster Report. Thank you. I'm Sheriff Alfonso Williams with the Burke County Sheriff's Office. It's good to be with you today. Thank y'all so much for joining us. You're going to get an introspection into the Sheriff's Office leadership and what we do. This is our command staff. These are the top folks that run the office every day and help you to stay safe. We always say to you, you can trust us. You can trust our product. I have with me Colonel Lee Webster and Colonel Chad Plueger. So if y'all will just give your own introductions, we'll get started.
Colonel Lee Webster, Burke County Sheriff's Office, over investigations and training. Been with the Sheriff's Office now almost 10 years and been in this particular part of it for about 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Most enjoyable thing I've ever done in my life.
I'm Colonel Chad Plueger. I'm over field operations and administrative services here at the Burke County Sheriff's Office. I'm glad to be here. We'll give insight to the public on what we do on a day-to-day basis and how we run the office.
All right. Good. These are your folks. These are the folks you can trust. You can trust us. You can trust our product. It's so refreshing to know that you have the right experience when it matters most. And that's every day. We're delivering a great service here in Burke County. Well, we always start with a funny, and I didn't write this. RS did, so if it's not funny, let him know. But so the question is, why do police officers love playing poker in the jungle? Takers?
I do not have a clue.
I don't even have
Because they always catch the cheetahs.
that was catchy.
Okay.
All right, let's see if we can get it one a little better.
We'll do better next time.
Well, we're laughing, so either we're corny or the joke is. I'm not sure,
perfect.
or both. Yeah. Police officer pulls over a speeder, a man in a tuxedo, and in his frantic pleas to be let go, the officer doesn't let him go and locks him up. And so the officer says to the violator, who's arrested at this point and sitting in the holding cell, it's your lucky day. The chief is at his daughter's wedding, and he'll probably be in a good mood when he get back. And the man looked up at the officer and said, "Well, don't count on it because I'm the groom."
Now, that was funny. That was funny.
We can tell RS that was better.
I think somebody else is in trouble at this point.
Yeah. The chief is the least of his worries. I
Right.
think anything like my wife, but I got a beautiful wife who would probably be understanding. But so let's just jump right into it. We're going to have conversation with one another. Look, leadership is tough. I've traveled this country teaching leadership, and I've got a few years of experience with leadership. It's tough. Every day is tough. There's a number of challenges facing leadership in general, but leadership in law enforcement. And I think specifically about social media. I think about council culture, people's desire to know and to know right away, oftentimes wanting to know before we even get involved and before we know what's going on. There's a lot of talk about transparency and accountability. There's technology challenges, just AI challenges, trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and what writings are real and what's not. Trying to navigate cameras and infrastructure and budgets and the whole immigrant situation that's going on around the country. So even on a local level, you're still navigating national issues as well as local issues and trying to figure that out. I mean, something as simple as golf carts in a community. I mean, can you ride those on the roadway? Do you allow it? Ordinances. So I just want y'all to talk in general about your experiences over the last several years, the last 5 years, and what's going on currently, what's been happening, and what challenges they bring to you, present to you. We can talk about Burke County specifically, and then branch out into what's going on nationally.
Yeah. Well, I would say, first of all, in regards to leadership, I don't think leadership has ever been more important. Leadership is kind of like the heading over the top of everything, because we're actually having to train new officers now. We're the people that are going to define law enforcement in the next 10 to 20 years. We're creating those people right now. And what's so important, I think, is over the last 10 years, law enforcement has changed so much. I mean, people consider us to be a rural county, and you don't have the problems that, I mean, their perception is you don't have the problems that larger jurisdictions have. That's not so at all. I mean, we may not have the quantity, but we certainly have the problems, and we have to deal with those. And at the same time, we're bringing these new officers on, and we're training them in the right way to do it. And I can't say how appreciative I am for the people that I work with, because that's what makes us who we are. I mean, Chad has brought expertise to the table that are bringing our new officers in the door and training those for the future, helping to train those for the future. And I think we're in a very good place in Burke County.
Yep. To hit off of some of what Lee said, I think what I've noticed too is now we have a lot younger generation becoming deputies, and I think effective communication with them. And they ask the question, they ask why, and I think back in the day, like, we didn't ask why. You just went out and took care of business and did what you were told. And I think now trying to answer their whys, like, sometimes hard for us that have been doing this. This is my 21st year, so you come up with reasons. You're trying to be effective with what you're doing, and you give them a task and you tell them why you need them to do this task, and then it's easier to get them to do something as you've asked. And I just think that communication aspect, and there's a lot of opinions and a lot of different personalities that we deal with. And I think these different personalities, you got to try to place those in places within the agency that help us make us run better. So.
Yeah, well, both of you bring some very interesting points. I'm really excited now. I really want y'all got my wheels turning. You mentioned some things that I didn't mention initially, some issues in law enforcement. I talked about technology and infrastructure, but y'all brought up personnel issues. Mm-hmm. It is hard, not only hard to train and retain good qualified people. It's very challenging to get anybody to apply. We used to be able to sit in our offices and wait on folks to walk in the door and apply for a job, and we'd put them to work. And that's just not the case anymore. It has become very difficult to get people into this profession.
Right.
And I was teaching a class in Palm Beach, Florida, a couple of years ago, and there was 60 people or so in the room. And I asked the class to raise their hand if they were encouraging their children to get into law enforcement. Not a single hand went up. Not one. Yeah. 60 law enforcement professionals in the room, and not one said they were encouraging their children to get into law enforcement. And so we wonder why we have openings. We wonder why we can't fill positions. What has happened in this profession that has caused people to go the other way? Because in the past, historically, this was the job to get into. You can give back, you can help, you can make a difference, you can leave the world better than you found it. You could have a sense of accomplishment, hope, and that's just waning. And why is that?
Well, I think it's the world we live in. There's so much more stimulus out there. And when I was growing up, police TV shows were coming on to the scene, and
Chips, right?
Chip. Well, I can go back farther than that, and Dragnet and Adam 12. But
what is that?
Well, anybody who hasn't seen those shows, you need to watch them, because kids, and this is really what we're talking about. I mean, kids. My wife was a teacher, and she was very involved in job. People thinking about careers. And so the thing is people need to understand that your kids are growing up, and the earlier you get them, the sooner they can make these decisions consciously and, thoughtfully. But I'm saying all that to say that most kids used to want to be a policeman or a fireman. And now there's so many other careers out there. And I think when you couple that with the fact that the general public might not see law enforcement as a viable career. I mean, think about that for a second. We have to have law enforcement. And it's not because of the general public, it's because of only 2 to 5% of the people who repeatedly offend, and we have to be protected. We have to protect the rest of the public from that. And I think it's a noble career, and in the last 10 years, it has gone completely crazy with technology and things that we have to participate in, and we have to train our people. And there's so many bells and whistles out there. We have to maneuver through what we need and what we can afford. So
I'll tell you, the social media has certainly changed that. Violence is never pretty when it's displayed on public television. You have other professions that kill more people every single day than law enforcement ever could. We have millions of interactions with the public on a daily basis, and the majority of them, 99% of them, are very positive. But it's that one incident that's played out on social media or on the local news or national news that paints us all with the same brush. And so do you think that contributes to people's inability or desires to find other professions versus our profession?
I do, absolutely. That's actually what I was going to say. I think social media, Snapchat, TikTok, all these different things, I feel like it puts a negative impact on our profession, and to me. And then there's your seldom that, the police have done this and this is good, but I feel like there's more negative push than there is positive. And so the future, our kids are using Snapchat, TikTok, they're using this, and so these reels come up and that's what they see. So they're going to say, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to go find something else.
Yeah, there was a time when you had your local newspaper, and it came out once a week, and it'd take a long time for print media to get around the world, and now people are getting it instantly on their that computer, that handheld computer that we all have, and we're giving it to kids as young as 3 or 4 years old, and they're seeing more than their brains can process, and it's causing some problems for us. Do you think law enforcement is doing enough to counteract that? Are we on social media enough? I meet leaders all the time who say, we're not a part of social media. I don't get involved with that. It's not a good thing. It can be good or bad. As a sheriff, I've certainly seen that. Somebody who's in the news every day or on social media, talked about on social media every day. I was a huge believer in social media, and we still are. We're still very actively involved. I always say we got to tell our story, or the story is going to be told. So we're on social media telling our story. Sometimes I wonder if we are as loud as some of the other mediums, and if our story is really getting out there, and that's always a challenge.
Well, I do agree. I think we're vetting this question you just asked by what we know today. In other words, what we've already done is kind of the standard. What we need to be thinking about is, where are we going with this, and what are the possibilities? It takes a fresh look. It takes somebody thinking out of the box, because that is the quickest way to get to that information out there. I mean, it's instantaneous, and these kids, when they make a decision, well, I'm going to go into this profession or that profession, I just wish they would consider law enforcement, because it is a very viable profession that, a lifelong career.
I think we can do a little better job sometimes, though, because when you see these promotional videos or advertisements for the law enforcement profession, it's usually flanked by fast cars, shiny badges, SWAT teams, K9, kicking indoors, flashbangs, some big moving equipment or something. But that's a very small portion of the job. 90%, 85-90% of this job is customer service.
That's it.
It's community policing. It's talking to the clerk in the store. It's stopping and talking to the person who's out watering their grass. It's showing up at a neighborhood watch meeting. It's visiting schools, giving back, helping out, feeding the community, the things that Burke County Sheriff's Office does so well. But that's not as shiny. It's not as favorable. Two types of police officers, I think, social workers and crime fighters. And most law enforcement want to be seen as crime fighters and not social workers. Mm-hmm. Until we turn that dynamic around, I think we're going to continue to fight these problems that we have with social media and recruitment and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think our schools have done a little better job of, like, they have the law enforcement classes now. Mm. What I would like to see, though, is maybe like Georgia Post or Gypstick be involved with those classes, and maybe they can get some kind of training that's, through that, and escalate them into law enforcement career.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But there again, it's if you define it by what you're already doing and how much you're meeting that goal, I think we're not going far enough. We need to be thinking, what are the possibilities for the future? Because what the three of us see today is no comparison to what we saw 10 years ago. And I think it's, like I say, in agriculture, we see so many other things represented. It's not just the guy anymore that's actually planting the seed. It's all the other support that person gets. And law enforcement is the same identical thing. I mean, we need to get out there. We need to talk to these kids young. We need to get them to understand what this profession provides, and then we need to get them thinking about. I mean, there's just so many other things. We've got a active drone program now in our sheriff's office, and it's we're hunting for a missing person as we speak, and that has been extremely instrumental in our search. And I don't know what a search would be without that tool to be able to use today.
Those tools, that technology. You ask what's the job of the Sheriff's Office Command, and it's almost everything. It's understanding societal ills, how to fix those ills so that we reduce crime. It's gang activity. It's the youth and their inability to have good conflict resolution skills. It's domestic violence. It's fentanyl. It's all these other drug problems. It's teen pregnancy. It's lack of education. I mean, we have a diploma program here, and folks would say, well, what business of that is the sheriff's? And if we can educate people, we can give them the sustenance they need to go to work. And if they can go to work and provide for themselves, they're not taken from others. Yeah. I mean, the job is so vast. And it's not the old show up. It's not the old Andy Griffith as sheriff, where he just shows up, sit in the office behind the desk all day, and just kind of solve community problems. It's feeding the homeless. It's all the things that we do so well here. It's clean up during the storm. It's fostering relationships every day. It's paying power bills for those who can't afford to pay power bills. It's traffic enforcement. It's a very huge responsibility that we have. Just as we start to wrap up, I mean, any final thoughts? How do we build trust and accountability between the sheriff's office and the community we serve?
Effective communication.
Communication is key.
That's it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yep.
Definitely. Communication is key. And that's inside and outside the agency. I mean, even inside the agency, it's tough. We try to communicate. We try to let our folks know what's going on. We meet regularly. We talk. We share information. But, boy, if you get it wrong, they'll let you know. And the community will let you know as well. Yeah. Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back, as Chuck Woolery used to say on the Love Connection, 2 and 2.
Summer is here, and it is very hot out. So pools like this here at the Burke County Family Y and the pools at your home are open, and I know you all are using them. So before you think this is just another safety video, please stick with me and just listen to what we have to tell you today. The number one cause of deaths for infants between the ages of 1 and 4 in the United States is drowning. Today, I'm going to be joined by Captain Levi Bullock with the Burke County EMA, and he's going to run us through what you need to do if you were to have a pool-related incident, with it being a small child, an infant, or an adult. So I hope you find this video educational and can use what you learned today in this video if an incident like this may occur around you.
The best emergency is one that never happens. In talking about pool safety, remember, keep children at arm's length. Designate at least one adult as a water watcher, free from distractions like cell phones. Secure your pool fencing with a self-latching gate, and make sure that everyone knows where all the life-saving pool equipment is located. Even with using all the safety precautions, you can still have an emergency. So now, we're going to quickly demonstrate CPR on a child. First, make sure the scene is safe. Look around for any hazards. Then, approach the child. Quickly tap on the child's shoulders and ask, "Hey, can you hear me?" If there is no response, you can leave quickly to alert someone to call 911 and get you an AED if necessary. Then, if you can and know how, quickly check for a pulse. Using 2 fingers on your side, reach down, go below the jawline into the neck, and feel for approximately 4 to 5 seconds. If no pulse, begin CPR. With your hands, take your dominant hand, place it over the chest of the child, and put your second hand behind, interweaving your fingers. Leaning over the child, shoulders above the child, begin compressions, hard and fast. Try and count out loud if you can to help keep time. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Trying to keep a rhythm of approximately 100 to 120 beats per minute. Continue that rhythm until someone arrives who is CPR qualified or until emergency medical personnel arrive. If you're alone and no one witnesses the drowning, you may begin CPR immediately. But don't forget, if you don't call 911, no one is coming to help. In comparison to child CPR, infant CPR is quite similar with a few changes. For an infant, you should only have to use 2 fingers in the middle of the chest. Same concept, push hard, push fast, but not quite as deep. You want the exact same rhythm, approximately 100 to 120 beats per minute. Counting is best, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. If you are alone and you can't get anyone's help or attention, you can quickly pick up the infant, cradle in the elbow of your body, and perform CPR this way. This will allow free movement to be able to reach someone or get to a phone and call 911. And in the event of an emergency with an adult, CPR is very similar to that of a child. The only differences are proper hand placement and compression depth. Your placement may be a little farther down to follow the nipple line, but still on the sternum. And your compression depth is going to be a little deeper because of the size of the adult. And again, if you are CPR certified, follow your CPR training. If you are not, continue hands-only CPR until emergency medical responders arrive.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for staying with us on that break. Welcome back to the Muster Report. We're glad to have you today. I'm Sheriff Alfonso Williams with the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and I'm joined by my command staff today, Colonel Lee Webster and Colonel Chad Plueger. Prior to the break, we were talking about how to build trust in our community, trust between the Sheriff's Office and the folks we serve, and we have done a really good job at that. We really understand societal ills here in our community, whether it's violence, conflict resolution, domestic violence, teen pregnancy, homelessness, poverty, lack of education. We're working on every front to address those issues. And I think that the trust that we have between the folks we serve and the folks who are serving, we have been able to navigate many of those challenges better than most, and or I think our folks have done a really good job in that regard. I think when you're hiring, if you ask the right questions, and it's got to be all about service. We have committed ourselves to being good public servants. And so we don't have as many trust issues in our community as maybe some other folks have with those challenges, and I'm very grateful for that. But our mural here says it all. Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. And we have folks who are here to serve, and they're not expecting the community to serve them.
That's right.
Any commentary in that regard?
I feel like we got one of the. I come to work every day, and I'm just so glad of people that I work with, because they have the expertise to do the things that you just spoke of, and it's all about service. It's all about. I made the comment a minute ago about drawing my weapon. If I've drawn my weapon, we have lost the battle. That is the very last resort. And all the things that we do before then, and this team is committed to making sure that we try to have a full court press on the issues and dealing with those issues and the proper training. And that would be my comments on that.
Yeah, I think I can think of a lot of things with service, like our community outreach program. 100 and something events a year that they go to. They're over in Ingevity today at a health fair. So, we got a sheriff's office attending a health fair. So, we try to help the public and citizens with that. I think of our grant program with the counseling services that we provide, so we have deputies that answer calls that refer to Sergeant Young and them and their team for counseling services for anything. It could be any type of help that they need. I think of Heather.
Homeschool diploma program.
Yeah. I think of Heather last night, and it just hit me. Just text me and said, sent me a screenshot of where the mom of the missing girl is out still looking at 8 o'clock at night, and she says we got to get out there and still help her. So they're wanting to serve and go out, and now we got a full force missing person thing going on out there, search. So
yeah. I was out there this morning. A lady showed up with her horse, and she's going to get on a horse and help her search. Just a volunteer who wanted to be a part of that, and that's just remarkable that we have a community that cares enough and trust us enough to join in and to help out.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of all of those things, I want to transition a little bit to the budget, because it takes money to make all of this work, and it's no secret that we've been in the media quite often about finances, about money, about budget, and we have been painted in this light of always asking for money. I think we're very fiscally responsible. I think we do a lot. Taxpayers are always concerned about their taxes going up, but I was talking to a friend who said everybody wants the rhythm, nobody wants the blues, but it takes a lot to make sure you have good qualified people who will show up in uniform and know the law and be well trained. Our SWAT team is out this morning helping with this search. Well, they've got to have a lot of training. They've got to have a lot of resources. They've got to have a lot of tools. On that search this morning, it's going to take water and Gatorade, and the Community Services Division is going to be out there along with our SWAT team and our investigative team, helping to ensure that they stay hydrated. They have bug spray. They have the tools they need to get the job done. It's just so. Our budget decisions really affect our service delivery, and we started off this podcast saying we were going to talk about operational effectiveness. So can you talk about staffing and equipment and training and public safety initiatives and how all of those things are affected by the budget?
Yeah, I think we can bring up Flock. Like, we have a contract with Flock, and that requires so much funds every year to keep us within,
Tell them
within
what
contract.
Flock is and how we use it.
Yeah, so Flock, we use Flock. It's a camera system that we use. It's like an LPR reader that reads tags. So if a family has a missing persons in this case, if we're looking for an aggravated assault suspect, if we're looking for a hit and run, anything in between, that we can use this tool that we have placed throughout the county, and not just our county. We partner with anybody else has Flock, where we can search for this vehicle to help find these people and to solve cases. And it's been a tremendous tool. And also Flock has, they have now where you can place like a gunshot detection within certain communities where you have violent crime, and it will notify all the deputies on the road patrol of when a gunshot is detected, and they can respond accordingly. So, but you need those funds to keep it going.
Yeah, as the head of the investigative division, every day we're using the Flock camera system to solve cases. I mean,
Absolutely.
I remember a murder that occurred in Augusta. They dumped a body on a dirt road here in Burke County, and we had to use Flock cameras to help solve that case. I remember a hit and run in downtown Waynesboro during a community event where a pedestrian was hit and they fled to Augusta.
Yes,
we were able to track that vehicle.
It proves what did happen, and it also can prove what didn't happen. And I would just add to that we've actually used the Flock cameras. I think if I'm correct, 5 murders have been solved here in this county with the use of Flock cameras.
Wow.
And people have to realize also that we're area that sometimes people dump things because we're a very rural area, and this is a most useful tool that wasn't even available 10 years ago. Right. So it's not the latest and the greatest. This is just something that's an everyday tool that we can use, and we do use it on an everyday basis.
But it's very costly. The initial purchase of the cameras are some $1,500 or so. Is that right?
Yes. Well, the cameras now they run $3,000 for just the camera. But the fact is, we get way more bang for our buck on this. Yeah. I mean, this is not something that I would want to compromise on because it is so valuable. It's just a huge amount of value of the information that we're able to obtain, not just in Burke County because of the 9 cameras that we have, but because of over the whole country.
Well, we talk about that. I mean, you talk about over the whole country, and we talked about starting local and branching out nationally, and that's what we're doing here in this conversation because Flock cameras are such a controversial topic nationally. Some folks are concerned about privacy and the government and Big Brother looking in on them, and so how do you navigate those challenges?
Well, I too am concerned about privacy, and I'm sure everybody in this agency is concerned about privacy because we're individuals as well. We're we live in this community, but the need for that information in certain circumstances, and that information is only available to us under certain conditions. It's not like we can just go out there and start playing, well, who's on this road and who's on that road. We have to have certain parameters that we can use that information under. And as with
anything, there's going to be some downsides, but the benefits outweigh the negative effects of it. And if we just have to have accountability when persons are using it improperly, and we have those policies in place.
Those preventions are in place, and it's not going to say it's not going to happen, but it's very unlikely to happen.
How many times a year do we use our SWAT team?
Man.
We had last year, if I'm not mistaken, it was 28 calls.
28 calls.
And that's with them also assisting other counties, too. Right. So we also utilize them there to help our other agencies around us.
Sometimes our citizens say, well, why do we need a SWAT team? Why can't you use the SWAT team out of Augusta or some other place? Why is it that Burke County has a SWAT team, and is that an effective use of our tax dollars?